the sleepy town of Hollowbrook, tucked away in the misty woods, stood an old abandoned mansion that no one dared to approach. The locals called it Whispering Pines, an eerie structure with ivy-clad walls and broken windows that seemed to watch over the town like a silent, forgotten sentinel. For decades it had been left untouched, its history obscured by layers of fear and mystery. It was said that anyone who ventured too close would hear whispers on the wind, but none dared to listen. Among the curious few who sought out Hollowbrook's darkest secrets was Clara, a young woman with a fascination for the paranormal. Clara had heard the rumors of Whispering Pines, and unlike the superstitious townsfolk, she was determined to uncover the truth behind the mansion's dark past. As an aspiring photographer, she longed to document the abandoned places few dared to visit, hoping her work would gain her recognition in the world of urban exploration. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the sky turned a cold shade of purple, Clara made her way to the mansion, armed with her camera and a backpack filled with supplies. The wind howled through the trees, sending an unsettling chill down her spine. But she pushed forward, her determination overcoming her fear. The mansion loomed ahead, its jagged silhouette barely visible through the dense fog. Clara's heart raced as she approached the main entrance, a grand wooden door that had long been cracked and warped by time. She pushed it open, and the old hinges groaned in protest. Inside, the mansion was a time capsule, a decaying monument to a bygone era. Dust hung in the air like a thick blanket, and the floors creaked under her every step. As she explored the house, Clara noticed strange markings on the walls, symbols she didn't recognize, drawn hastily in what appeared to be faded red ink. The house seemed to breathe, and the deeper she ventured, the more oppressive the atmosphere became. It was as if something or someone was watching her. Finally, she found herself in a dimly lit room at the end of the hallway. At the center of the room stood a large antique mirror, its frame carved with intricate designs that depicted strange creatures and twisted faces. The glass was flawless, reflecting the room in perfect clarity. But there was something unnerving about it. It didn't feel like just a mirror. It felt alive, like it held secrets in its depths. Clara's breath caught in her throat as she stepped closer. She couldn't resist the pull of the mirror. She reached out, and the moment her fingers brushed against the cool surface, the room seemed to shift. The air grew thick with a low hum, and a strange sensation flooded her senses, as if she had crossed some invisible threshold. In the reflection, Clara saw herself, but not as she truly was. Her figure appeared distorted, her eyes darkened, her skin unnaturally pale. A shadow loomed behind her in the reflection, its shape shifting as if it was trying to reach out from the glass. Her heart raced, but before she could pull away, the shadow in the mirror seemed to grin, its mouth opening wide in an unnatural, twisted smile. Suddenly, the air in the room turned icy cold. Clara stepped back, her hand still pressed against the mirror's surface. The shadow in the reflection reached out toward her, its hand extending toward her like a dark, phantom limb. Clara tried to yank her hand away, but it was as if the mirror had taken hold of her, pulling her deeper into the glass. Panicking, Clara pulled with all her might, but the shadow was relentless. It wrapped around her, dragging her into the mirror. With a final desperate scream, she was sucked into the glass, her body vanishing from the room, leaving only a distorted reflection behind. The next morning, the town of Hollowbrook woke to find the mansion quiet once more. No one had seen Clara since the night before, and her disappearance quickly became a mystery. Her camera, abandoned in the mansion's entrance hall, captured eerie photographs of the house. Pictures of Clara standing before the mirror, her figure blurred and her eyes hollowed out. Days passed, and whispers of Clara's fate spread throughout the town. Locals claimed that the mansion had always been cursed, that the mirror had taken countless souls before her. The mirror, they said, was no ordinary object. It was a gateway to a dark realm, a prison for the lost and the damned. Every soul that gazed into it was pulled into its depths, trapped for eternity. The mansion, once again abandoned, stood silent as the fog rolled in from the forest. The mirror, though, remained unchanged, its surface still gleaming with the reflection of the room. But now, a new reflection appeared. Clara's face twisted in terror, her eyes pleading for someone, anyone, to break the curse and free her from the mirror's grasp. Years passed, and the mansion faded into obscurity. But those brave enough to approach its doors at night claimed they could still hear faint whispers on the wind. Some said it was Clara's voice calling out for help. Others swore they could see a figure standing in the window, her face distorted, staring out into the night, forever trapped in the mirror's dark reflection.